This is Little Rock's public school system today, a successfully integrated educational environment. But it wasn't always this way. In 1957, there was turmoil as 9 black students fought to integrate Central High School.
You know, for a long time, Little Rock did not want to deal with the 57 crisis. People wanted to kind of erase it from their memory. And certainly it is something that if you could erase from the history of the world, even that it should never have happened. I'm afraid to think of what would have happened if it hadn't been for the crisis at Central. I wonder if even today we would have integrated schools. Daisy was the catalyst for this. Daisy Bates, it was her action and her strength that integrated Central High School.
Daisy Bates and her husband, L.C. Bates, came to Little Rock in 1941 and founded the Arkansas State Press. Through the publication, the couple fought for equal rights and against the wrongs inflicted upon blacks. Mrs. Bates' passion for equality comes from the death of her mother, raped and murdered by 3 white men when Daisy was only an infant. With the encouragement of her stepfather, Daisy turned her bitterness for whites into love for the human race.
In meeting Mrs. Bates, you could get a feel and genuine look at her love for people. And I think truly that's what Mrs. Bates was all about.
In 1957, as state president of the NAACP, Mrs. Bates was asked by the 9 black students chosen to integrate Central High School to help them through the predicted crisis. Every night, Mrs. Bates and the 9 children met at her home. They experienced nightly attacks from segregationists, wanting them to give up the fight.
Well, the sun is south, and let's show the nigger he's in the sunny south.
But Mrs. Bates fought on. On September 25, 1957, the help that Mrs. Bates had prayed for came in the form of the United States Army's 101st Airborne Division. President Dwight Eisenhower ordered the Army to surround the Central High campus and escort the students to and from school. On that day, Mrs. Bates accompanied the 9 black students into the doors of Central High School. This was the beginning of the long-awaited victory and the beginning of the end of an era of segregation.
I think that Daisy Bates displayed a great deal of strength and courage, not only for the black community, but for those students. She was truly the tower of strength for those students and was able to carry them and the community through this crisis.
After the 57 crisis, Mrs. Bates traveled the country lecturing and writing of her years in the struggle. In 1963, she worked on Lyndon Johnson's presidential campaign, and she spoke at the famous March on Washington directly after Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Today, Mrs. Bates lives in the same house that was once stoned and shot at, but her home is a little more peaceful now. It's filled with plaques and awards from the hundreds of organizations that have honored her and carry her name. People come from all over the world to visit Daisy Bates. Even those here at home often visit for a rekindling of spirits.
I admire her more than I admire anybody else on this earth. I think she is the most courageous person, man or woman, that Arkansas has ever had.
Ms. Bates has left an indelible mark on Central High, not only in terms of integration, but also in terms of just the relationships here with our students. I think when they come to Central High, 3 things are given. One, they're coming to an integrated setting. They're coming to one of the most historical schools in the country, and also they understand the importance of Central High as it relates to the impact on the world and its national importance. So Ms. Bates has left an incredible impression on Central High.
And she took the initiative as a black woman in '57 to struggle for these 9 black students to integrate Central. And I feel that if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be here today.
I think we've come a long way in terms of race relations. There's a much more peaceful environment, and I think we begin to realize that